Well, good morning everyone and welcome back to the cabin. I just got done feeding the chickens. I hope you all enjoyed last week's video where I worked up the harvest of the pig that we had. It was a lot of work. It took me a whole week basically to work the bacon up, smoke the ham, chase the fires, render the lard, and everything else that I did. But it's all done, put away, and like I said, it's going to be a great winter here on the homestead with all the canning that we were able to do from the harvest of the gardens that we had this year, and my daughter helped me put it up. So I've got plenty of corn and green beans and pickles and sauerkraut and everything else. So yeah, it's going to be a good winter. Anyway, I'm heading down here to the workshop area, so I'll meet you down there. Well, so how does the pork taste? I got a couple of comments about that. You know, the bacon, the ham, the sausage, the pork chops and everything else that we got from it. We've only tried the bacon and the sausage so far, but I can tell you this. They are both on point. Especially that bacon. It is so good, it absolutely make your tongue slap your brains out. That flavor of the maple syrup, the brown sugar, the thyme, the pepper, the salt, and the smokehouse. Actually, that was the trick right there. If there's any magic in it, that was it right there. It is so good. The sausage, it's really good. I think what I'm going to do is, there is an Amish store that's not that far away from here. I have been looking for the leaf sage, because all you can find in the stores anymore is that ground up powdered like stuff, and to me that's just not the same. So I found out that Amish store does sell, I don't know what you would call it, hands, because when you used to tie tobacco, when a lot of the farmers around here worked tobacco, and you were harvesting it, you would grab several leaves after it was dried and tie a leaf around it and go in and out of it. That was called a hand of tobacco. So I would imagine that they sell hands of sage that's basically still on the stalk and got the leaves that are dried. That's the type that I'm used to. You just used to take a knife and just kind of chop it up a little bit, mince it up, and throw it in the sausage, you know, when we were running it through the grinder. And that just made the sausage taste so much better. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and I may add just a little bit of red pepper to it. So if you've got any question as to whether or not it was any good, there's your answer. Like I said, we haven't tried the ham and the pork chops yet, but the other is really good. So all of the work that went into feeding the hog all year, basically, watering the hog and working it all up, was well worth it. So the work down here on the timber frame workshop, I think that's the term that I'm going to use for this area down here, because there's going to be a whole lot of work taking place in this building. So I think I'm just going to call it a workshop instead of a barn. But I think what I'm going to do, right behind me there's a pile of gravel that I had scraped off up there to do some landscaping. I think what I'm going to do is move all of the lumber that's on that and actually take that rock and go ahead and distribute it over here for the tractor. That's primarily the reason that I brought it down here. So I'll clear all this out right here. I will scrape all these shavings back and that, and I will go ahead and spread that gravel in here so that when I do get this done, I don't have to walk in the mud basically. I think I've got enough. So this area down here is just a little bit narrow of 16 feet. I decided to go ahead and make it 10 feet high because the tractor is actually about 8.5 feet, but that will give me plenty of room to drive through here. Especially I'm going to have braces going up like this on the corners, so that will allow me more room to actually bring the tractor in here from an angle. And it's 18 feet in depth. The whole building will be 18 feet in depth, and it will be 50 feet long by the time we get it done. But the tractor, probably what I'm going to have to do is pull in and then back in here, because if I just pull straight in here, that's going to put the boom of the that's actually mounted on my box blade sticking out the back just a little bit, because when you measure from the grapple on the front of that tractor to the end of the boom, it's about 25 feet, I think it is. So the box blade will probably end up sitting right about here, and that will put the boom sticking out about 4 feet. And I would rather the front of the tractor be even with the building and whatever I have left sticking over, as opposed to the reverse, right? So the reason that I haven't taken that boom off of that box blade, because I think that that new tractor that we have has enough weight on it, as with just the box blade on the back for counterbalance, and I believe it will handle anything that I'm doing up here. But the ball for the trailer is actually mounted on the back of that with a stabilizing bar going up where I drilled a hole into that boom to keep the ball from flexing, because the metal on that box blade was just not thick enough when you load up my 18-foot trailer or something like that. It wanted to give just a little bit, and I didn't want to warp it, so I rigged up a brace to keep that from happening. But you know, it's not that big a deal because it's working fine. It just sticks out there a little bit, so like I say, if I pull in and back in here, it's not going to be that big a deal. When I can find a couple of days, because I figure that's probably what it would take, a couple of days where I've got a little bit of slack time, I may take the boom off and see if I can't rearrange that stabilizing bar on the back where I can still leave the ball on the box blade and just take the boom off. These two beams that I'm sitting on right here, I've got to make two more just like them to go up. Remember I said that I had enough room with those 16-foot posts that I could actually have center posts, that I could actually have a 7-foot ceiling in the workshop, and that will give me a 7-foot ceiling upstairs of the workshop. Of course it will taper down, but it's primarily just going to be like a storage area for boxes and different things, because I don't have that much storage area in the cabin. I have stored a whole lot of stuff up underneath the cabin, but I have to crawl in and out every time, you know, I need something to go in there. Building materials and all kinds of stuff is under there, believe me. As I'm cutting up the logs, you always come out with a lot more material than what you're cutting for, because as you whittle that log down to the proper dimensions of the sizes that you need, you have other lumber that you can actually come up with. So all of this stack right here, except a little bit on the bottom right there, is extra lumber that I came up with just by cutting these posts that I have been working on. I've got some 1x, I've got 2x8s, 2x10s, 2x6s. Got a lot of different material in here that I'll be able to use on the workshop when I get to that point. But this is all the byproduct of cutting up the logs to make the post and the beam. Yeah, this tractor right here, I'm proud to report, if you have a small farm, if you have a homestead like this, and you're looking for something that's got the muscle to be able to do the work that you need, I can say that if you're interested in a tractor that doesn't cost a whole lot because of the name, and you're looking for the horsepower, and you're looking, like I said, for the muscle, this tractor right here, the front end will lift up almost 3,000 pounds, and it's absolutely a beast. And it's built really heavy duty. So I can report to you that, like I said, if you've got a small farm or a homestead and you're looking for a great tractor, let me recommend this one right here, because like I said, it doesn't cost that much, and it's going to be everything that you think it would be. Junior right here, the four-wheeler that we bought, is doing a really great job as well. I take the dogs to the creek all the time in it, run over to my sister's house, I get water, you know, to replace what I need up here for the animals, and just, you know, watering the garden and different things like that. I take feed up when I get it up to the chicken house up there and store it. I have run my tools around in there, especially if I have, you know, several armfuls. That way it keeps me from walking back and forth. To just load up the back of it, take it down there. So both of these guys right here are pretty handy to have on the homestead. Do I need them? This I would probably need more than the four-wheeler. Four-wheeler just basically makes things handy. I got along, you know, several years without it, but it made things a whole lot easier, because before I was using my truck to transport anything that I would need to up here, and then I would basically walk it up the hill or put it in the bucket on the tractor if it was too heavy and take it up there, which I can do with this one as well. But yeah, both of these vehicles do make it really handy if you're living on a homestead and you need transportation or you need muscle. So I can actually recommend either one. That nice hammer that I made out of that dogwood actually split on the side, and as rough as I am on them down here, I just beat the tar out of those chisels, and it went ahead and it cracked, and it actually started cracking on the other side. So I decided that I'm going to have to make a new one. You will actually see that in tomorrow's video as well. I've actually been using this down here. Now, I bought this especially for those chisels, but let me tell you, these don't last either. Okay, it's cracked down in here. This broke off. Yeah, so my advice is to not get one of these if you've got a set of chisels and you needing a hammer. You can actually buy chisel hammers online, or you can make your own like I do. That way, if you wear one out, you just go make another one, right? So you'll see in tomorrow's video where I actually made a new mallet, and we will see how long it lasts. You know, our temperatures have been getting down around 30 degrees at night. I think tonight it's supposed to be like 27. So it's a little bit chilly in the morning. It warms up during the day to, like today, I think it's supposed to be 54 out. So I'm going to have to get busy here pretty soon. I've got to bring up a couple of logs, like I said, and make those 6x10 beams for that upper floor, so that I can, that and those 3 tie beams and that collar or center beam up top, ridge beam, that is going to finish off the beams that I need in order to do this other section before I start cutting some sheathing. So friends, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here, because I do need to get those beams up here, get them sawed out, because we're expecting a couple of days of rain, and I do have to leave for a couple of days. So I'd like to get those at least cut. That way, if it does rain, I can work on the ends, making the tenons, get them hewed out, burnt, and oiled up and ready to go. That way, when I get back, I can almost be ready to start actually putting that thing together down there. I still have to cut those tie beams and that ridge beam up there, but when those are done, everything will be ready to go. So from all of us here at the Outpost, Smokey, Dolly, and myself, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. We look forward to seeing you back up here at the cabin again next time.